Hey, I'm 1 minute late. Je suis 1 minute en retard, mesdames et messieurs. Alors bonsoir, hein? Ben oui, it's me, it's encore moi. I hope everyone's doing great. J'espère que tout le monde va bien. I'm going to put this thing just a little back for you to don't have this in your face and not in my face either. C'est pas de même? On m'entend bien? Check. Hey, Marshall. J'espère que vous allez bien. I hope everyone's doing fine this week. En espérant que ça lag pas trop, en espérant que j'aurai pas trop de problèmes avec mon réseau Internet. Et c'est Frank! Il semble qu'on s'est vu, ça fait pas longtemps. Donc, cette semaine, bienvenue à The Vintage Kids. Welcome to The Vintage Kids, a Yoda's Workshop podcast. Un podcast de Yoda's Workshop. Cette semaine, eh bien, j'ai pensé à faire un retour un peu à la base. So this week I thought about doing a little comeback to basic stuff, which is vintage. So what I thought, well, at first I was thinking of doing something again on a subject very specific. Au début, je pensais faire quelque chose vraiment sur un sujet très, très, très spécifique. Mais je me suis dit, oh, eh, eh. Donc, je me suis dit que ça serait probablement mieux de faire plutôt quelque chose de plus large et d'interagir avec vous autres, ceux qui vont être là ce soir avec nous, avec moi. I thought of doing something more. Hey, c'est Paul! Quand sa langue, ça l'agace. Sa langue, ça lag. Tu l'as presque. Tu l'as même supprimé. Pourquoi tu l'as supprimé, Paul? C'était drôle, mais tu n'as pas utilisé le bon mot, mais je te pardonne. I am pardoning you, but of course. So what I was saying is this week I thought of doing something very specific, but I said to myself, wait, this podcast is called The Vintage Kids. So let's do something that is directly in this matter. Sa langue, sa lag. Oui, voilà. Mais c'est correct. Ça devrait arrêter de laguer éventuellement, j'imagine. Mon débit est bon, il est pas bon. Il 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 est bon. Vous avez qu'est-ce que ça saute? Salut mon Paul. Es-tu tout nu, là? Are you naked, Paulie? Non, là, ça y est, 18 ans et plus, là. 18 and over, as I used to say. Keep your shorts on, keep your pants on. So this week, what are we going to talk about? Well, this week I thought of talking about my childhood and not specifically all the troubleness that happened. No, I had a wonderful childhood. Joe Ferraro, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Ferraro. Hi, Joe. All bien, man? So I said to myself, let's talk about what made me a vintage kid. So we all, every era, every generation, toutes les générations de TQ ont joué avec des jouets. On fait des choses en particulier. On joue au roi de la montagne l'hiver. On allait glisser. Nous autres, dans le temps, il n'y avait pas Internet. Back in my days, Internet was not available. Well, not in my country. Um, and we're talking now around 1977 all the way through 1980. I think that I really stopped playing with toys. Well, I never really stopped. Around probably 85. So I was like 11. Anyway, maybe 12. Donc, ce que je disais, c'est que, dans le fond, on a tous joué avec des jouets quand on était TQ. Et puis, peu importe l'époque, whatever the era or the generation, peu importe la génération, on a joué avec certains jouets. Donc, ce que je voulais faire, moi, aujourd'hui, c'est un peu vous parler, moi, personnellement, des jouets que j'ai eu la chance de jouer avec. Fait que, oui, on va parler de Star Wars parce que ça fait partie de tout ça. Mais j'aimerais aussi faire allusion à toutes les autres toy lines, toutes les autres comme justement Paul dit, les G.I. Joe, Transformers, puis toutes ces autres affaires-là. Puis des fois, il y a même des séries de jouets qui étaient seulement disponibles au Canada, au Québec. So I wanted to go through all the toy lines that I was lucky enough to live through and learning about their birth. Well, not learning, but enjoying their birth. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Chips, exactement. Chips, man. Tu vois, c'est bon, tu me l'avais fait penser. Seb, j'ai pas de notes à soir. I have no notes tonight. I have nothing to show you except one thing. But before we start talking about this week's subject, this week is brought to you by. No, it's not true. So this is what I want to do tonight. So we're going to spend around an hour together. I'm going to talk about all these toy lines that I was lucky enough to grow up with. Fait que je vais passer à travers toutes les toy lines que j'ai eu la chance de grandir avec. Et je vous invite également, comme vous êtes en train de faire là, de faire allusion aux toy lines que vous avez eu aussi la chance de vivre avec, à apprendre et triper solide. So I invite you guys during this to ask questions or just say the toy lines that you used to play with. I tried to do this sondage thing where you can ask a question and you guys could answer, but I was only able to put like 4 options for answers, so I decided to take it out. So we're gonna have to talk together. And like I said, as usual, even if there's nobody, I'm gonna do it anyway. So you're stuck with me, you know what I mean? So donc c'est ça. Once again, in French and English, toujours en français, en anglais, je vais faire de mon mieux. Lego Space, man. Hey, j'en ai vu aujourd'hui des Lego Space. Je suis allé demander au gars combien il vendait. Il dit 350 pour la boîte. Je fais comme. Il dit, ouais, mais cette petite boîte-là, elle vaut 350. Je fais comme, ouais, mais je te donnerai pas 350$ pour 4 petits morceaux de Lego, là, tu sais. Je veux dire, là, même si c'est des Lego Space, là, à moins qu'ils soient neufs, là, puis qu'ils shinent, puis qu'ils sont gradés et FA, là, je te donnerai pas cet argent-là. Fait qu'il va probablement rester pogné avec pour un petit bout. So first up, what I want to say before we talk about, well, we start our subject, if you guys were with us last week, si vous étiez avec nous la semaine dernière, j'ai fait allusion à tous les personnages de Star Wars qu'on a vus, les 92, blablabla. Je ne recommencerai pas à parler de ça au complet, mais je veux faire un point. Si vous vous souvenez bien, je vous ai présenté ce personnage la semaine dernière. Donc, c'est un Gomerian Guard de Jabba the Hutt. Et je vous avais dit que cette figurine, Big Jim, man, oui, Big Jim, j'ai connu ça. J'en ai vu aujourd'hui. Je suis allé... je vais compter ça. So, as you guys remember, I talked about this one. Je vous ai parlé de celui-là. Et ce que je vous ai dit, c'est que suite à la sortie du film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, avec Kevin Costner, Kenner avait ressorti un autre toy line et c'était pour les films Robin Hood. Et que je vous avais dit qu'ils avaient utilisé le corps, ben, ce bonhomme-là, pour faire le frère Tuck. Et puis là, ben, je vous en avais fait allusion, mais évidemment, je ne peux pas vous le montrer. Mais là, je vais vous conter aujourd'hui, je suis allé avec François, justement, qui est à l'écoute avec nous, et un autre de nos amis, Martin. On est allé à la chute. We went to this place near around here called La Chute, the Chute, maybe. And it's like a big garage sale. It's like a flea market. Donc, on est allé au flea market, au vente de garage, marché aux puces à la chute. Et on faisait le tour, on a trouvé des affaires, on a parlé du monde, c'était bien fun, it was fun. I found a few items that were great. But just before we leave, at the last stands that we were doing, I looked around and I saw like a basket full of figures. And I look around and I said, oh my God, there's a Gomerian Guard vintage. So I pull up this figure and believe it or not, c'est le bonhomme, c'est the guy that I was talking about last week. This is the figure I was talking about last week. C'est le bonhomme de la semaine dernière. Donc, c'est le frère Tuck que je vous disais qui était exactement pris de cette figurine. Donc, si vous pouvez regarder comme il faut, je ne sais pas si je vais être au focus, là. Mais si vous voyez comme il faut, je ne suis pas au focus. C'est littéralement la même figurine qu'ils ont seulement que changé de couleur et ils ont un petit peu modifié. Ils ont changé la tête, évidemment, donc la tête n'est pas la même. Mais ça vous donne une idée. C'est littéralement la même figurine qu'ils ont utilisée. It's the same figure that they used to create this one. They used the Gomerian Guard from 1983, and this one is dated 1990. Donc ça, c'est 1990, et ça, c'est 1983. Incroyable, les chances que je tombe dessus aujourd'hui, j'en revenais pas. François non plus, puis Martin non plus. C'est comme, what? Donc, c'est ça que je voulais vous montrer parce que je vous en avais parlé. Donc, c'est les deux figurines qui sont basées sur le même. Dans la même série de jouets, the same toy line with the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, they also use the Ewok Village. It's the same village that they are selling as a Robin Hood Village, but it's the Ewok Village. It's the same thing, but they only changed the color of some parts of the village and they added a few like spears and stuff. Anyway, so that was my little parenthèse about this find. It's a great wild find, this figure today, and I was talking about last week. So anyway, all right. So, j'ai encore le gorille dans la jungle. Le gorille dans la jungle. Ça, c'est-tu des. Tu parles-tu des Fisher Price? Genre avec Johnny Cano, là, puis tout ça, là, les brouettes, là, puis les autos, puis les Jeeps. Là. Anyway. OK. So, it all started on a Tuesday. Non, c'est pas vrai. Donc, moi, quand j'étais petit, j'ai encore un frère. J'ai un frère qui a 3 ans de plus vieux que moi. I have an older brother that is 3 years older than me. And the first toy that I really remember, and I'm not including like the Fisher Price ones because Gorille Mattel 1973. Yeah, that's the blue one. Es-tu bleu, celle-là? Non, Mattel, c'est pas Fisher Price, ça. Faudrait que tu me le montres, man. Tu peux-tu mettre des photos? Non, tu peux pas acheter des photos sur le chat. Essaye donc de voir si tu peux mettre une photo dans les commentaires. Je pense pas quand tu fais un live. So the first toy line that I really remember, and it's funny because I even have family movies about this, like 8 millimeters. J'ai même des 8 mm. J'aurais dû. Je vais faire des screenshots. Je les ai numérisés. I got some great footage of me and my not my boyfriend, but my brother. My boyfriend is not in that movie. I'm only like 2 years old. So it's like in 1976, even before Star Wars came out. So we are at Christmas and we're opening our gifts, and I'm like a baby, and my brother is opening all these $6 million man action figures. So the first real toy line that I really remember is the $6 Million Man. Donc l'homme de 6 millions, c'est vraiment la première gang de jouets que je me souviens qui n'était pas vraiment Fisher Price, that were not like Fisher Price toys. And I remember that, and I did not have the chance to have GI Joes or Big Jims. I was like too little, or my mother did not buy those. My brother was probably watching not GI Joes, but $6 Million Man on TV. Mon frère écoutait probablement $6 Million Man, l'homme de 6 millions à la télé. Et on a eu le bonhomme de Steve Austin. We got this 12-inch Steve Austin that you can look in the eyes and you can see through the head. They did the same thing with the Boba Fett, by the way, that you can look through the head and see like can see through it. Et on avait eu aussi Oscar Goldman. Oscar Goldman, lui, il venait avec un bureau. He would come with an office, well, a desk. Ah, cool, ça a marché, man. OK, fait que c'est dans Big Jim. Ah, ben c'est ça, c'est dans la série Big Jim, ça. Nice. Ça, c'est cool, man. Ah, tu vois, je savais pas qu'on pouvait rajouter des liens comme ça. Good job, on vient d'apprendre de quoi. En tout cas, moi. Um, so this Oscar Goldman would come with a desk, a chair, and this famous suitcase. There was a suitcase, like a magical suitcase. You would push, it would open and have secret compartment and stuff. I don't really remember it very well, and this is why I'm trying to. I've been looking to get some $6 million man action figures and stuff from back then, and I want to give them for Christmas. And my brother's like, hey, hey ouh, je pensais pas voir ça dans ta vie. Tu sais. Uh, so that was the first toy line. I remember also. I think I had the one that you can tear off the face, the robot one from the $6 million man. So I had the robot. I did not have the not Wonder Woman, but Bionic Woman. J'avais pas la femme bionique. Mais j'avais Steve Austin, Oscar Goldman, puis l'espèce de bonhomme que tu peux enlever la face. J'avais une mallette 007 avec un gun caché. Oh, ça, moi, j'ai pas eu ça, man. Ça devait être cool, par exemple. Ça, c'est dans le temps en plus de Roger Moore, ou bien c'est juste avant Roger Moore. Ouais, parce que Roger Moore est arrivé avec son premier, c'était pas Octopussy, c'était. Je m'en souviens pas. Mais ouais, j'ai trippé sur James Bond, mais c'était Roger Moore pour moi. James Bond, ça a toujours été Roger Moore. Fait que c'est ça. And then, and then, of course, the year later was probably 1978, 77. It was the Star Wars toys. So I don't remember receiving Star Wars toys at the beginning. I remember Empire Strikes Back, receiving like the X-wing. I remember receiving the Falcon, and my Falcon was from Empire Strikes Back, if I remember correctly. It was not a Return of the Jedi box. Um, the only thing I really remember, yeah, it was Empire Strikes Back because in that case there was like Bosk. Uh, my mother bought for Christmas for to me and my brother a Kenner. I think I've already told that before in another podcast, but she bought us a case full of Minton cards, all sealed. So we would open that case, and there was like 6 or 8 action figures. I don't remember how many figures there were in these cases, but I was like impressed, and I remember the feeling of seeing that wonderful Kenner case full of Minton cards and saying to myself, "Oh, it's even better than in the stores," because all in the stores were all on pegs and or but I was able to watch all these Minton cards and say, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I think that my mom would give us one at a time and not like, you can open all the action figures right away. She would like say, all right, you've been a good boy. Good boy. You went outside to do your poo poo. So good job. Here, an action figure from Star Wars. And I remember that Bosk was in that case. So I would have to search and see which wave it was because I remember I received a Boba Fett or whatever. So so that I remember very well of having tons of Star Wars because Star Wars changed my life. And I'm not able to say if it changed my brother's life as much as mine as a kid, but me it made me really decide stuff later on in my life. Donc, Star Wars a comme vraiment comme changé ma vie en tant que petit cul parce que le film m'a fait capoter. J'ai été tout de suite intéressé à savoir comment est-ce qu'ils faisaient les films. J'étais curieux de voir les making-of. Puis ça m'a donné le goût de faire des films, d'être dans des films. Puis encore aujourd'hui, ben, officiellement, ma job, c'est encore de faire des films. So I was lucky enough to be able to work in a way in kind of a way in the movie industries, but not like big production, but to make my own films, and it was like a blessing. Donc, ça a vraiment changé ma vie. Ça a aussi, euh, ça a créé, je pense, aussi le trip de collectionner. Tu sais, il y en a que ça va être les Pokémon plus tard, là, tu sais, je comprends. Là. Collect them all. Mais un peu Star Wars, c'était le même principe. So, in fact, like the Star Wars action figures with all the ones that came out, it was like our Pokemon. Collect them all, you know. So that was a big time in my life where I was really, really enjoying Star Wars stuff. I would play with my friends. I would play alone. I would play with my brothers. Je jouais à Star Wars tout le temps. Je capotais littéralement sur Star Wars. En 81, j'ai commencé à jouer au hockey. In 81, I started to play hockey, watch hockey. So I started to have different interests, but mainly it was Star Wars. And you have to keep in mind that we knew that new movies were coming out in 78, 79 until Empire Strikes Back came out. And we knew that Return of the Jedi was coming. On savait aussi qu'il allait avoir Return of the Jedi. Fait que ça, il y avait comme un vibe incroyable. Puis moi, j'étais en plein dans les âges. Là. In 1983, when Return came out, I was 9 years old. So can you imagine like this little guy that you can see in the pictures that I did not edit anything this week. It's like really me as a kid. Can you imagine this little kid, 9 years old, and seeing for the first time like Ewoks? Oh my God, they're so nice! And all the older guys, what the fuck is that? What is this Jar Jar joke? Yeah, so the Ewoks were not really loved by everyone. Uh, I recall so Yoda in Empire Strikes Back. So in 81, I was really little. I was really young. En 81, j'étais jeune. Là. Fait que 6, 7, j'avais 7 ans. I was like 7 years old. So I was really impressed by Yoda. I really felt like this mm, frog thing was alive. Fait que j'ai comme vraiment trippé sur Yoda. Ça, je me souviens de ça au niveau d'Empire Strikes Back, puis évidemment des Hat puis tout ça. And like I said earlier not earlier today, but in another Vintage Kids, there was one of my friend that got the At toy. And I remember seeing it for the first time and I was like blown away. J'avais un de mes amis qui s'appelait Sylvain Huppé. Sylvain, si jamais t'écoutes ça, il avait reçu, lui, la hâte à Noël. Puis, quand je l'ai vu en vrai, je me rappelle, on était allé chez eux jouer avec mes bonhommes de Star Wars. Puis, il a sorti la hâte. J'ai fait comme. Euh, C'était vraiment la première fois que j'ai. Ben bon, j'étais peut-être encore trop jeune pour comprendre ce qui se passait. C'est pour ça que j'aime ça à quatre pattes. Non, c'est pas vrai. Partons pas de rumeurs, là. Ben, pas moi, là, à quatre pattes. Là. Fait que. C'est ça. Fait que j'ai trippé solide sur Star Wars. I really like freaked on Star Wars for a long time. I remember after that, the thing that I started to enjoy. Well, I don't recall what the date that it came out, but I know that Masters of the Universe came out. Fait que je sais que dans ces mêmes années-là, il y a les Maîtres de l'Univers qui ont sorti. I don't remember the date. I have no notes today, by the way, so I'm all like shooting this out of my brain. Uh, but I did not like the Masters of the Universe. I thought that it was like not creepy, but it did not look real. So I know it was a cartoon, but the figures like were too big, and I don't think that I knew who was Arnold Schwarzenegger back then because I don't think, yeah, perhaps Conan came out during about the same era, but I was not able to associate Eamon with any of these real people. Fait que j'étais pas capable de faire une association vraiment avec les personnages de Masters of the Universe. Slot Car Tracks. Ah oui, 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 ça j'en ai eu ça moi aussi. Il y avait comme les Hot Wheels. Oh, il y en a un que je viens de me rappeler. There's one I just remember, and I played so many times with this set. C'est des chars. They are cars, but they're, what was their name? It's like des chars qui se rentraient dedans. The cars that would hit themselves and they would lose like a door, or they would lose like the top uh, and the bumper. C'était les Crash Dem Derbies, ou je me rappelle plus. Mais je me rappelle de la boîte, je me rappelle du char qui est porte bleue, puis tu pouvais comme rajouter. Puis là, il faisait rouler, puis je pense que tu pouvais tirer comme avec une corde en plastique. Puis là, le char, il partait, puis il rentrait dans un autre char. Tu avais un jump aussi, comme en plastique noir. So, Crash Them Derbies, I think they were called. So they were like the vans from Star Wars, the vans that you would put the red thing all the way through, and you would pull this thing and smash them derbies. Ah, tu vois, j'étais pas loin. Je te dis crash them. Big Bang, rentre dedans. C'est Boom Poto. Then Boom Poto, yes, but of course. Fait que ça c'était vraiment, mais vraiment cool. Big Bang rentre dedans. C'était le même en français, man. T'as raison. Big Bang rentre dedans. Aïe, aïe, hein? C'est de la traduction, ça, mon ami. Euh, Puis, tant pis pour les suivants. Ça devrait être notre hymne national. Hein? Ben oui, pourquoi pas. Uh, yeah, I used to play with these cars. I really love the fact that you would like smash them together and they would never break. Ça cassait jamais. Les morceaux partaient, mais tu les remettais dedans, puis le char était neuf. Puis genre, hey, on les pitchait dans le mur, là, mon frère, c'était comme solide, là, on se les pitchait, là, c'est comme, à cette heure, là, je veux dire, tu lances un jouet dans le mur, puis il n'est même pas rendu dans le mur, puis il ne marche plus parce que l'air l'a cassé, presque, là, Fait que, anyway, fait que c'était, ouais, Smash Them Derby, man. Ça, c'est cool en tabarouette. Fait que ça, je me souviens de ça. J'ai assez trippé sur les Smash Them Derby. Mais fait que Masters of the Universe, moi, je n'ai pas cliqué pantoute. Mais je me rappelle, il y avait un de mes voisins, donc un de mes amis, mon voisin d'à côté. Lui, il était plus jeune que moi. Pour ça, je ne me rappelle pas c'était en quelle année. Là. Mais lui, il tripait solide sur Masters of the Universe. Il les avait, là, puis il me montrait. Check, c'est là, c'est un tel. Moi, je regardais ça comme, ouais, OK. Mais non, pas d'intérêt. Puis c'était pas parce que j'étais rendu plus vieux ou whatever. C'est genre, je sais pas, moi, les gros bonhommes musclés, ça m'excite pas tant que ça. Tu sais. Big, huge. Et voilà, c'est en plein ça, man. C'est en plein ça. Ouais, c'est en plein ça. Le char bleu, le char orange, ouais, avec la boîte noire sur le top. Et voilà, ouais. Ça, là, je pense que je vais essayer de m'en pogner une boîte. C'était vraiment cool, ça. Fait que c'est ça, Masters of the Universe, j'ai pas trippé. Je pense que j'avais essayé même d'écouter à la télé. I even tried to listen to them at the on TV, and I don't know, I did not with the princess and the Skeletor guy. It's like, well, eh. Another one that I really loved, I remember receiving at Christmas, either from my mom or my aunt or whatever. It's the Clash of the Titans. Donc, j'ai eu Clash of the Titans, qui était le film. J'avais eu, je me souviens, il y avait deux grosses figurines. Il y avait comme le gros méchant avec quatre bras. There was like this huge action figure with four arms that you actually kind of they revisited in The Mandalorian in season 2, I think. No, it's not. It's not in Mandalorian. It's in Boba Fett, in the book of Boba Fett. They did like an homage at this weird, big, huge figure. And there was also like selling the lady with the snakes on her heads. La ventouse, la mis dessus ça, la mange du ça, la mange-moi ça. Puis, what I remember having was the guy with the horse with the wings. So that I really enjoyed. I remember watching the movie and really thinking, "Wow, that movie is amazing." And I remember, I think it's ILM that did that movie with the stop motion, and I was like really afraid of that lady at the end of the. Celui de Evil, ben oui, Evil Knievel avec sa moto, man. Ben oui. I remember a movie that they did back then on Evil Knievel. Je me souviens, ils ont fait un film, me semble, de Evil Knievel, puis ça finissait qu'il disait qu'il allait sauter par-dessus le Grand Canyon. Ouh! Puis tu voyais la dernière scène du film, il était comme sur le bord du Grand Canyon avec sa moto, là, puis, hey, moi, là, je vais me pitcher dans le vide. Uh, yeah, so those were great, great toys. Ils avaient fait la moto Evil Knievel, mais ils n'avaient pas fait aussi comme un G.I. Joe Evil Knievel aussi, mais bon, je peux me tromper. I can be wrong, but they did. I think that they did something more than just the Evil Knievel on their bags. Yeah, he was amazing, man. What a crazy guy. I mean, we ever was this guy ever replaced uh afterwards? I don't know, man. There was like no one like him. I remember his suit. I remember he was really, really something. I think I'm gonna try to find there's probably the movie that I'm talking about. I would probably be able to find it again. Um, Look what I found on Etsy. Evil Knievel Stun Cycle. Bon, mais tu vois, c'est ça, exactement. Là, je n'irai pas le voir parce que je vais probablement couper mon. Ah, ben oui, voilà, c'est ça. Le bonhomme vient d'apparaître. Yeah, you're right. His son. Yeah, you're totally right. His son. And I think in one of the documentaries, I saw that his son started to do the same thing. Robbie. Yeah, but I prefer Margot Robbie, but that's another thing. I would do some crazy cascade with her. Don't tell my wife. Hope she's watching. Mais ouais, fait que le Evil Knievel, c'était quelque chose de spécial à tabarouette. That was really something. So Clash of the Titans, that I was talking about, $6 Million Man, Star Wars. After that, what I really, really enjoyed, uh, and I think it's because I fell in love with the TV show, is G.I. Joe's. But not the G.I. Joes from the 1970s. Fait pas les G.I. Joe qu'il y avait comme en 1970, mais les G.I. Joe à TV le samedi matin. I really enjoyed the Saturday morning GI Joes that came out, and they were not made by Kenner. I think were they made by Kenner? I don't recall. Um, I have by yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, that bike looks amazing, and I think that they did their retro version that came out a few years ago, like they did for Star Wars. They reissued that motorcycle, I think. But I remember seeing a lot of people like, I purchased the Evil Knievel motorcycle recently. So, okay. Ils l'ont sorti. They brought it back again. Um, yeah, I fell in love with G.I. Joes. Why? I think it's because I kind of recognize the Star Wars spirit in that TV show. What I mean is, it was really like good against evil. And as much as I loved the G.I. Joes, I thought that the Cobra characters were way. Johnny West. Oh, Johnny West. Ça, c'est plus vieux, man. Pas, ça c'est un petit peu plus vieux. Johnny West, ça date. Ça, c'est-tu comme vraiment début des années 70, ça se peut-tu? Entertainment Earth, man, ça c'est une bonne compagnie. It's a great company, Entertainment Earth. I purchased back in the days when I started on eBay in 1998. A lot of stuff from Entertainment Earth back in the days. G.I. Joe, c'était Hasbro. Bon, ben c'est ça, voilà. G.I. Joe was Hasbro. So, Johnny West, je les avais tous. Tabarouette! T'avais toute la collection, man. Il va falloir que j'aille checker ça. Il me semble que j'ai pas connu ça, les Johnny West, moi. I'm a little young boy, you know. I'm not a grandpa yet, tu sais. Je suis pas encore un grand-père, moi, là, Paul. Moi. Ça s'en vient, là, tu sais. Mais pas encore. Je joue à ma fille de 15 ans. Wow! 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 Fait que, euh, G.I. Joe, j'ai vraiment trippé. I really love the G.I. Joes. And I was lucky enough that my mom purchased me the hovercraft. Hovercraft. You know the big one that, and it's funny because our friend Kristen Lee found one. I think this week somewhere around her place, um, and she purchased it. But there's a lot of missing pieces. Ouais, je suis plus vieux. C'est vrai, ben c'est ça. Mais pas beaucoup là. Tu sais, un petit peu genre moi Canadien, toi US. Genre. Fait que yeah, so I was lucky enough to have like the hovercraft, and I really, really enjoyed that toy. C'était vraiment cool d'avoir le hovercraft. Pour moi, c'était comme avoir le Faucon Millennium. Là. Je pense que j'ai eu le même trip de recevoir le hovercraft que quand j'ai reçu le Faucon. C'était comme je jouais avec, tout se passait dans l'overcraft. Il était gros, tu peux mettre plein de bonhommes, il y avait le devant qui ouvrait. You could do so many stuff. It was a big, big toy, the hovercraft. So I really enjoyed that. This was about to say spaceship, but this ship, but véhicule. Donc, j'ai vraiment trippé. J'ai passé bien des heures à jouer avec ça. Mais l'affaire que j'aimais moins que les G.I. Joe, les figurines, the thing that I didn't really enjoy about the G.I. Joes was the fact that of the string in the middle, l'élastique, it would often break. So I always thought that they were like cheaper than Star Wars. I mean, the action figures of Star Wars could throw them in fire and they would survive. You could throw them at your brother and they would survive. You would throw them in the walls and they would survive. Mais les G.I. Joe, they were like fragile. Tu sais, c'est comme, ouh, faut que tu fasses attention. Puis les petits bras cassaient aussi. Ça me fait penser, it makes me think that I also had not a lot of toys of these things, but I also have chips from the police TV series in the motorcycle. Puncharello and je me rappelle plus de l'autre, comment il s'appelait. John and Punch. Uh, I used to have like the action figures. I've got some even today. I was lucky enough to find some mint on card. Um, so I used to have like the little figures from Chips with their motorcycles, and I used to have like the 12-inch Puncharello and John, but not the big, yeah, Punch and John exactly. I did not. I don't think that they did like motorcycles for the 12-inch figures. I don't remember, but I used to have like the little motorcycles, and they were great, man. And it's funny because yeah, they were Mego. Exactement. You're totally right, man. Joe, you're right. Uh, and it's funny because it's a friend of my dad that was also a chips lover. So we were, when we used to go eat at his house during the weekend or whatever, we would talk about this show. And I was, as a kid, I was like, wow, this older dude is also watching the same show that I enjoy. I was like really, really surprised and fascinating by that. So every time that I used to see him as a kid, we would talk about chips. Ouais. Eric Estrada est policier dans la vie maintenant. Ah ouais, voyons donc, oui. Moi, je pensais qu'il avait comme 108 ans. Mais bon, peut-être 106. Là. So Chips was one that I had a few, not a lot like Star Wars, but I had like a few figures. There's also another one that I remembered that I used to have as a kid, and now I forgot them. Fait que les Clash of the Titans, Chips, I did not enjoy Star Trek as a kid. I always thought like it was soap opera Star Wars. So I don't know. I always thought that it looked fake. And if you would put like Star Wars and Star Trek one next to another, I always thought that Star Trek was like cheap Star Wars. As a kid, as an adult now, I totally understand like the magic behind all this Star Trek universe. But as a kid, I was really not impressed with Star Trek. And I would also see like the reruns from the 1960s. So I was like, yeah, well, that's boring. Oh, that's a wall. Oh, that's foam. Oh, that's a fake alien. Fait que j'ai vraiment pas trippé sur Star Trek, que j'ai pas eu de jouet de Star Trek, ça m'intéressait pas pendant tout. One of my friends was like a real big Star Trek fan, and he would always say, "I'm going to watch Star Trek. You want to come over?" I'll pass. I don't really get into Star Trek until the next generation. Yeah, because probably is that when we were at the next generation, CGI, not necessarily CGI, but like the effects were much better. And you have to keep in mind that in the first Star Trek movies, it's ILM that did the effects. So it's the same company that did Star Wars. So the effect would like get much better than what we used to see in the TV show. And I grew up with the old TV show, so the next generation, I was not really interested in them because in my mind, I was not impressed with the older show, so I was not really intrigued by the new ones. I saw the commercials, I saw a few shots. Perhaps I even watched a complete episode, but I was like, it's Star Trek. It's not Star Wars. So I was not driven to watch them all. But I would probably be very surprised to watch all the shows because nowadays I totally understand, like I said, the magic in all this Star Trek universe. Donc, j'ai pas trippé Star Trek. I did not really enjoy Star Trek, so I did not have any toys. Um, which one was I thinking? I was thinking about ships, Titans, GI Joes. There was another one that I forgot. Anyway, ça va me revenir. It will probably come back to me. Um, since I was watching GI Joes on in this because in this oh yeah I forgot one. Oh my god, okay, I forgot a big huge one. But there were no toys. Yes, I used to have one, and I still have it. Is it here? No, it's not here. Uh, over here in Canada, it's called Goldorak. In the U.S. Or even probably in Europe, it is called Grandizer. Grandizer. And this show was, I think, was one of the shows, the first show that came from Japan, yeah, it came from Japan, I think. Uh, that was played on TV, and it was in French. So every Sunday morning before the GI Joes came out, that's like in 1979, 1980, I think, 1981. Every Saturday morning, I was up to watch Goldorak, Grandizer. And it was amazing because it was in French, and it was the first time that we would see animé. C'était la première fois qu'on avait un show d'animé du Japon, man, qui jouait à TV. Puis les yeux des bonhommes, puis tout. Puis après ça, il y a eu Candy. And after that, they got a few more shows that looked like these anime style. But it was amazing to see like a different kind of cartoon and this robot fighting other robots, and it was great. And I remember as a kid, I also saw the what's his name, the big monster there. Voyons, qui crache du feu là, ils ont fait des films là. Godzilla. I remember seeing the very bad Godzilla movies as a kid. Like the guy in the suit there, it would punch like the big towers made of rubber and stuff or whatever. C'était comme, ah man, j'ai tellement trouvé ça poche. It was like, oh, this is pathetic. And as a kid, je voyais que c'était poche, man. I go, oh man, c'est donc bien poche. Ça. Or like there was this guy, Ultraman. Ultraman! Ça non plus, man. Ultraman, là, j'ai fait comme, what the fuck is that? C'était comme un peu, le Ultraman, c'était le début des Power Rangers, puis moi, ça m'a jamais accroché. Le Power Rangers, puis Ultraman, Godzilla, pas vraiment. Mais il faut prendre en considération qu'on avait eu Star Wars d'en face, puis Star Wars avait tellement l'air vrai. Star Wars looked so much realistic. It looked so real. You believed in that universe. You believe in the Falcon. You believe in this old, rough, sandy or dirty machinery and stuff. Ah oui, Astro, le petit robot, ça j'ai trippé. Mais il n'y avait pas vraiment de jouet non plus sur Astro. Mais oui, j'ai trippé sur Astro aussi. Hey, j'ai fait partie du fan club d'Astro, le petit robot. C'est là. I was in the Astro, le petit robot. In English, they call him Astro Boy. They did a movie recently that I've watched. Ils ont fait un film d'Astro il y a une couple d'années, puis je l'ai écouté, puis j'ai fait comme, ouais, ok, c'est cool. Tu sais, c'était comme, on revisite un peu notre our childhood and seeing this little boy back. But yeah, I've watched Astro a lot. So Goldorak, I still have it, but I don't have it here. I got like a 12-inch grandizer Goldorak that you would take like the Astroash and you would fight invisible other toys because I think it was only that one that was available. But once again, you have to keep in mind that this was not a US made action figure, or, well, not made, but it was not created in the US or in Canada. So it was a lot harder to find like imports from other countries back then. We're talking at the end of the 1970s, so that's not like yesterday. Amazon was far from being open. Donc, Goldorak, j'ai eu un Goldorak, mais j'ai vraiment trippé sur les épisodes. Et puis, il y a eu Albator aussi. Albator, Albator. Mais encore là, il n'y avait pas de jouet d'Albator. Ça faisait un peu partie de la même série que Goldorak. I don't know how they call them in English, Albator. They don't call him Albator, I don't think so. Mais Albator, j'ai trippé Capitaine Flamme aussi, mais il n'y avait pas de jouet de Capitaine Flamme. Capitaine Flamme, tu n'es pas de notre voie lactée, mais tu l'as traversé, Capitaine Ked. Fait que ça, j'ai trippé aussi, mais encore là, il n'y avait pas de jouets. Il y a eu Ulysse 31, mais là, on est rendu dans les émissions de télé. On parle de jouets. Let's go back at the toys. We're talking more about the TV shows that used to play back in the 1980s and 1970s. Capitaine Flamme, Albator, c'est ça, exactement. So back to the G.I. Joes. Since I was watching G.I. Joe in 1984, what came out was the last toy line that I really, really, really fell in love with. C'est la dernière chose de jouet, la dernière ligne de jouet que j'ai vraiment trippé. En 84, c'est The Transformers. And in 1984, I was 10 years old. So I was still like, girls were like getting interesting, but not yet. So I remember watching every, and perhaps it brought me back to Grandizer as an older kid. J'ai peut-être eu un peu l'impression qu'avec les Transformers, je me retrouvais un peu avec Grandizer et Goldorak. So I've watched this great season one, les Sentinelles de l'air. Oh oui, man, les Sentinelles de l'air. Ça, je sais c'est quoi, mais encore une fois, j'étais trop jeune. Mais je sais exactement c'est quoi. Alors, capitaine, je sais pas quoi, oui. Ça c'est Capitaine Nelson, je sais plus trop comment il l'appelait. Là. So I really fell in love with, once again, the Transformers TV series. And that was something that I really remember. I recall because I was older, going to the stores and walking through the aisles of the Transformers and seeing every great Transformers that there was. Megatron, Optimus Prime, um, Soundwave. I have many of these still. That My toys, I still have them. The ones that I used to play with. Tonight I thought of doing the Transformers episode, but I said no, let's talk about every other toy lines also. Fait que ouais, j'ai vraiment trippé sur les Transformers. Je me rappelle même avoir échangé. I even recall trading or maybe even selling some Star Wars toys to get some Transformers. Talk about a stupid idea. Hein? Mais ouais, fait qu'on parle en 84, 85. So we're talking like 1994, 1995. And I don't know if over here in Canada we got the last wave of Star Wars figures. Like the last 17, I don't remember if, well, I don't have any memories of seeing Star Wars action figures from Power of the Force that came out in 1985 and 1984 in the stores. I remember seeing a lot of GI Joes, a lot of Transformers. Perhaps the store over here decided to like put everything on the put on the side the Star Wars stuff because there were no more movies. I don't even remember seeing action figures from Droids and the Ewok series as a kid. But once again, it doesn't mean that it was not available over here, but I really don't remember seeing them. And since I was like Star Wars nuts, crazy, I think that I would have probably like, oh my God, there's more Star Wars action figure that came out, but I have no recollection of any of the last 17. Anyway, so I purchased even myself with my pocket money that I would like get during my the holidays or even my birthday. Je me ramassais de l'argent que j'avais eu en fête dans le temps des fêtes, puis j'allais m'acheter mes propres Transformers, les Insecticons, puis tu sais, je tripais là, c'était comme oh man, c'est donc bien cool, tu sais. Mais bon, ça a été that was like the last real toy line that I really enjoyed. I also remember purchasing myself some WWF wrestlers. I remember I purchased Hulk Hogan and I purchased like Rowdy Piper. I think those were only the two that I purchased myself because I don't remember receiving any of them because I was like older and oh I forgot one. Just remember one that I really enjoyed. Oh yeah, there's two that I just remembered that I did not have a lot of these guys, but I got like one or two that like were really important. The first one is Knight Rider. I remember receiving this Knight Rider, and one of my friends from Yoda's workshop, I think like 2 years ago, he gave me the Michael Knight. I put him in mind at too close. Yeah, LGN, exactly. Wrestling figures. Oh man, all of them. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, I'm out of focus right now. Okay, I'm back. Am I back? Hello? So yeah. There were so many of them. Today I saw even a few of them at the flea market, and people are asking like crazy prices for each figures, and some of them like are really beat up. There was like one Rowdy Piper that I saw today, but the arm was missing. Oh yeah, $50. Fuck you, man. I'm not gonna give you $50 for a figure that's missing an arm. That's not a Skywalker, hein? Fait que oui, j'ai eu quelques bonhommes de lutte de la WWF, mais encore là, je commence à être plus vieux. Donc, j'ai eu Kit. I used to play a lot with my Michael Knight action figure and the kit that would talk when you push the license plate on the back, and it was a auto activate the turbo boost. I remember that I was like making it jump over my brother and over whatever it was in the house. I played a lot with that toy. I really enjoyed that TV show, by the way. And now I've watched a few episodes and it was like, my God, this was like really really bad. But the car was amazing. It's still my favorite car from the movies. Uh, I would probably, if someone would say, "What car would you like to have?" I would say, "Give me a kit." Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna. What? How much do you need? I want a kid in my driveway. I don't even drive. I don't care. I need a kid in my driveway. Auto activate the turbo boost. And it was fascinating because the car would start itself. The car would move itself. Nowadays, the cars of today, they all do that by themselves. You can start your car from a distance. The car can park itself. Oh yeah, yeah, you're totally right. There were Battlestar Galactica. I did not have any ships. Uh, no, it's not true. There was, I think, I received a kit with the ships that they were rubber, the little ones, like the triangle ones. Uh, I got that set probably from like an aunt or an uncle or whatever at Christmas. And you would like shoot them. There would be a hole on the back. Oh yeah, the round one that would fire the things that people would swallow. Poor kids. Um, but one thing that I used to have as a Battlestar Galactica toy was the dog, and I found one about 3 years ago in like a Comic Con that I was exposing. I was someone I purchased like a space. I rented a space, not purchased, and there I found the dog, and I always don't remember the name of the dog, but I purchased the dog to this guy. I think I paid like $5. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The silent raider was amazing, man. I think the wings would open on the side if I remember correctly. And but I'm gonna try to find the ship set that I used to have, like the rubber one, because I remember the feeling of playing like with that rubbery texture, and it was unique. So yeah, not a lot of Battlestar Galactica that I used to play with. I remember watching the show, but once again, I always, and it's funny because Battlestar Galactica was made, the effects were made by ILM also. But I remember like the sets and the figures, like they tried to do another Star Wars, and for me, it did not look real. So I did not really enjoyed it as much. And I think that's really something that I just realized today by doing this podcast is that the fact that we saw Star Wars as kids, it was so well made back then that we've never saw something that looks so real. Even the 2001 Kubrick movie, A Space Odyssey, I mean, it looked real, but Star Wars looked even more real. Like they did it, it's normal because they created new stuff. Daggett, you're totally right. Um, the dog, yeah, you're totally right, man. So I'm just gonna say it in French. Je réalise aujourd'hui que oui, Tron. Ça non plus, j'ai vu le film, j'ai pas trippé sur Tron tant que ça. Euh, Puis tu vois, j'ai pas eu les jouets de Tron, ça m'a pas assez accroché. Puis pourtant, c'était bien fait pour le temps. Tron was really well made for back then. But I think the fact that the guys were wearing helmet from hockey players, once again, it turned me off. I remember looking at these guys wearing like hockey helmets. It's like, are you kidding me, man? See, we wouldn't never see like a hockey helmet in Star Wars. All the items that they would use would like something you never saw before. So it like, okay, it comes from another galaxy. But you're watching Thrawn, and they're telling you like this is unique. You're inside the video game, but we're wearing Jofa helmets. Tu sais, comme non, ça marche pas. Tu sais, we're wearing CNN helmets at CNN. CCM helmets from the National Hockey League, and your favorite player is wearing the same helmet. Ouh, tu sais, je suis pas sûr. Tu sais, c'est comme, hein? Oh. Tu sais, déjà que Han Solo sur Off, il portait des gants de hockey là, sur le bonhomme. Là, c'est comme, oh, oui, j'ai vu, là, c'est les mêmes gants que Guy Lafleur. Tu sais. Mais anyway. Euh, Fait que Tron, oui, tu as entièrement raison. Tron, c'était ça. Je veux juste revenir à ce que je disais tantôt pour le dire en français. Je pense que le fait qu'on a tellement grandi avec Star Wars en tant que TQ, que quand on a vu le film de Star Wars la première fois, c'était tellement bien fait, la qualité était tellement supérieure à tout ce qui avait été vu, ça n'a pas révolutionné le monde du cinéma pour rien, qu'après ça, quand on voyait d'autres affaires qui étaient faites, c'était comme, hein, c'est comme V, tu sais, the TV series V, with the lizard guys, and even Freddy Krueger plays in this show. I loved the show. The idea was great, but once again, I thought it was like the sets were not very nice, very good, but I preferred V to Star Trek. I preferred V to Tron, probably. I preferred even, I would say, V to Battlestar Galactica. But anyway, and I did not have the toy from V, by the way. I know that they produced a 12-inch figure that you would take the face off and see the lizard, but I did not have that one. Euh, donc, on a dit. Ah oui, puis l'autre que j'ai oublié, the one that I totally forgot that I really enjoyed to have, and I used to have the. Oh yeah, it all comes back. Oh my God! Ça me revient tout dans la tête. Deux affaires que j'ai oubliées. Première affaire, I used to have Mego, uh, Justice League figures. So Batman, Superman, Hulk. I remember having these three, and probably Robin. But I remember Batman, Superman, and Hulk. That's for sure. I remember to have these action figures, and they were great. And I played so much with these guys that the Hulk arm came off, or is it a leg? I don't remember. Um, les Stomper 4x4. Oui, ça, c'est-tu ceux. Il y avait aussi ceux qui montaient là, avec les grips, là, ils ont ressorti, t'en avais acheté. Là. Monster, je sais plus quoi, le Monster Spectacular. Ou les Grizzlies, ou je me rappelle pas, les Grizzlies de Saskatchewan. So I remember playing a lot with my Mego toys. Batman, Superman, and Hulk. Those were like three that I played tons of hours with. Et l'autre, the other one is the Dukes of Hazzard. Oh man, did I enjoy playing with the General Lee, the one that it was in plastic. And to be honest with you, I think that's probably the best toy that I played with that never broke. Je pense que c'est le jouet que j'ai joué avec que j'ai le plus maltraité, man. Et la structure était tellement simple. The structure of that car was so simple that I mean, it was the General Lee. So we would watch the General Lee on Dukes of Hazzard on TV. En français, c'était Shérif, fais-moi peur. In French, it would call Shérif, fais-moi peur. It would be translated to make me scared, officer. Scare me, officer. So that was the title in French for the Dukes of Hazzard. Mais j'écoutais Dukes of Hazzard en anglais, ça me dérangeait pas. I was watching more Dukes of Hazzard in English than in French. Et je tripais tellement sur le Dukes of Hazzard, j'avais même, puis je les ai encore, j'ai même les Hot Wheels. I used to play with my Hot Wheels of the Dukes of Hazzard, and I still have them downstairs. So that was something that I really enjoyed. But the car that I was talking about, le char de General Lee en plastique avec les roues qui étaient comme solides, un peu plus grosses, puis tu vas asseoir, je pense, les bonhommes dedans en passant par le toit. J'avais Beau puis Duke. Duke puis Beau, je pense qu'il s'appelait. Et puis, hey, écoute, je les ai fait voler. C'est un peu comme le Knight Rider. Là. Knight Rider était solide aussi, mais je me rappelle, tu sais, il fallait enlever le dessous, puis là, tu avais le filage qui passait, puis il y avait comme fucky, il a fallu que je le répare. So that I remember that it was like with batteries and stuff, so it's normal that it was like more fragile. Il était plus fragile. It would broke easily, mais le Dukes of Hazzard, j'ai tellement brassé. the generally, I mean, he went down the stairs with the figures inside, and the figures were the same as the GI Joes with the rubber band inside. So I remember that my figures like probably broke, so I was really very sad and was not smart enough to fix them. Or we did not have like the little rubber bands to fix them, so if we'd use a bigger rubber band, like the legs would be way off. Il était comme vraiment trop bas. Les rubber bands n'étaient pas de la bonne grandeur pour réparer mon beau puis mon Duke, tu sais. Fait que, ouais, je me souviens, j'avais ça. J'avais pas dans les Hot Wheels, j'avais le Jeep, j'avais le char de police. Mais je pense que c'était un set. I think there was a set that we could purchase. I'm going to look it up on eBay. Like there was a Hot Wheel set of the four cars. Generally, the police car, the Jessie, her name was Jessie, I think. The girl, the Jeep, and the Hog, the guy with no hair, the fat dude in white, Fat Hog, or I don't remember his name. It's Hog something. Puis lui, il avait comme une espèce de décapotable blanche. So I still have the Jeep, and I still have the General Lee, but I don't have the other ones. Mais ouais, ça c'était la belle époque. J'ai trippé évidemment sur Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but the only action figure that I used to have it was the big one, and I think you can see it in the pictures that I've put up this week as a kid when I received it at one of my birthday. It was the one that was holding his arm like that, and there was a mechanism inside, and you would hook the Spider-Man on something, and he would go up slowly. Fascinating. Back then, it was like, wow, my Spider-Man is moving. Fait que je pense que j'ai eu un Spider-Man. Puis je pense qu'il a pété comme vraiment vite, puis il ne marchait plus. Ben non. Puis il était stiff, là, tu peux pas. Il était comme. Il était pris dans la carbonite, pauvre Spider-Man. Fait que c'est pas mal ça, je pense, le tour des jouets que j'ai eu la chance de grandir avec. C'est sûr, j'en oublie. Tu sais, évidemment, I also grew up watching this on TV, not the movie, but the TV show. So I used to have like I still have my Penguin Hot Wheel, and I lost my Batmobile back when I was a kid. We used to go camping at the same place, and I brought my Batmobile, and I lost it because I created like dunes and holes, and I put my Batmobile in that hole, and I left it there, and I never found it again. So I'm still crying about it sometimes at night, but not often. Maybe once a week. Fait que c'est pas mal ça. Fait que j'ai eu la chance de grandir avec tous ces jouets-là qui ont. C'est un peu la naissance de tous ces jouets-là. J'ai pas trippé sur les Tortues Ninja parce que j'étais rendu plus vieux. I did not like. I was too old for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I didn't watch the show. I watched the movies. The movies that came out in the 90s, I thought they were great. So that's the way I learned about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But like I said, I was like, nah, I was too old when the TV show came out for the first time. I watched a few of them as a kid, well, as an older kid, but I was not a vintage kid, not yet. Fait que c'est pas mal ça, les amis. So that's about it, my friends. We've been talking for an hour. So I hope you guys enjoyed it again. As usual, this will be available on YouTube in the next hour or probably tomorrow morning. Um, if you have any ideas for a next subject, go ahead. Feel free to help me out. Francois gave me a good idea this morning, but I forgot about it. François, tu me rediras c'était quoi ton idée pour un des épisodes? Ah oui, de voir les collections des gens. Ben, c'est une bonne idée, puis on va s'en reparler. Il faut vraiment que je travaille pour trouver un logiciel que je vais pouvoir mieux interagir avec vous autres puis pouvoir vous montrer des photos. I really need to upgrade this. Thank you, Joe. Always fun to have you, man. Like I said, comme j'ai dit, ça va être disponible sur YouTube. La semaine prochaine, je ne sais pas encore de quoi qu'on va parler, mais on va parler de quelque chose, c'est certain. On va être encore là ensemble pour passer une petite heure et parler de notre passion. We'll be here next week and talk about what we love, collecting toys and being a vintage kids. So be safe, be good, be wild, be you, and don't forget, shower with a friend. Bonne fin de semaine. Bonne semaine. Have a great week. Take care. Ciao.